Om Sai Ram, Chapter 6, Shri Sai Nathaya Namaha, Ram-Navami Festival and Masjid Repairs. Efficacy of the touch of Guru's hand. Ram-Navami Festival, its origin, transformation, etc. Repairs to the Masjid. Before describing transformation of Urus into Ram-Navami Festival, things were going on in this way, and the fair was gradually increasing in importance till 1912 AD, when a change took place. That year, one devotee, Mr. Krishna Rao Jageshwar Bhism, the author of the pamphlet Sai Saguna Upasana, came for the fair with Dada Sahib Khapade of Amravati, and was staying on the previous day in the Dikshit Vada. While he was lying on the veranda, and while Mr. Lakshman Rao alias Kaka Mahajani was going down with puja materials to the masjid, a new thought arose in his mind, and he accosted the latter thus: "There is some providential arrangement in the fact that the Urus or fair is celebrated in Shri on the Ram-Navami day. This day is very dear to all the Hindus. Then why not begin the Ram-Navami festival, the celebration of the birth of Shri Rama here on this day?" Kaka Mahajani liked this idea, and it was arranged to get Baba's permission in this matter. The main difficulty was how to secure a Haridas who would perform kirtan and sing the glories of the Lord on the occasion. But Bhisma solved the difficulty by saying that his Ram Akhya composition on Ram's birth was ready, and he would do to the kirtan himself, while Kaka Mahajani should play on the harmonium. It was also arranged to get the Suntavada ginger powder mixed with sugar as prasad prepared by Radha Krishna Mai. So they immediately went to the masjid to get Baba's permission. Baba, who knew all things and what was passing there, asked Mahajani as to what was going on in the Vada. Being rather perturbed, Mahajani could not catch the purport of the question and remained silent. Then Baba asked Bhisma what he had to say. He explained the idea of celebrating Ram-Navami festival and asked for Baba's permission, and Baba gladly gave it. All rejoiced and made preparation for the Jayanti festival. Next day, the masjid was decorated with bunting, etc. A cradle was supplied by Radha Krishna Mai and placed in front of Baba's seat, and the proceedings started. Bhishma stood off for kirtan, and Mahajani played on the harmonium. Sai Baba sent a man to call Mahajani. He was hesitating to go, doubting whether Baba would allow the festival to go on. But when he went to Baba, the latter asked him as to what was going on and why the cradle was placed there. He answered that the Ram-Navami festival had commenced and the cradle was put on for that purpose. Then Baba took a garland from the nimbar and placed it round his neck and sent another garland for Bhishma. Then commenced the kirtan. When it came to a close, sounds of victory to Rama went up, and gulal, red powder, was thrown up all around amidst band and music. Everybody was overjoyed when suddenly roaring was heard. The red powder, thrown promiscuously all around, went up, somehow entered Baba's eyes. Baba got wild and began to scold and abuse loudly. People got frightened by this scene and took to their heels. Those intimate devotees who knew Baba well took these scoldings and outpourings of Baba as blessings in disguise. They thought that when Rama was born, it was proper for Baba to get wild and enraged to kill Ravana and his demons in the form of egoism and wicked thoughts, etc. Besides, they knew that whenever a new thing was undertaken at Shirdi, it was usual with Baba to get wild and angry, and so they kept quiet. Radha Krishna Mai was rather afraid and thought that Baba might break her cradle, and she asked Mahajani to get the cradle back. When he went to loosen and unfasten the cradle, Baba went to him and asked him not to remove it. Then, after some time, Baba became calm, and that day's program, including Mahapuja and Arati, was finished. Later on, Mr. Mahajani asked Baba for permission to remove the cradle. Baba refused, the same saying that the festival was not yet finished. Next day, another kirtan and Gopal Kala ceremony, an earthen pot containing parched rice mixed with curds is hung, only to be broken after the kirtan, and the contents distributed to all, as was done by Lord Krishna amongst his cowherd, were performed, and then Baba allowed the cradle to be removed. While the Ram-Navami festival was thus going on, the procession of the two flags by day and that of the sandal by night went off with the usual pomp and show. From this time onwards, the Urus of Baba was transformed into the Ram-Navami festival. From next year, 1913, the items in the program of Ram-Navami began to increase. Radha Krishna Mai started a Nam Sapta, singing the glory of God's name continuously day and night for 7 days from 1st of Chaitra. For this, all devotees took part by turns, and she also joined it, sometimes early in the morning. As Ram-Navami festival is celebrated in many places all over the country, the difficulty of getting a Haridas was felt again. But 5 or 6 days before the festival, Mahajani met accidentally Balabua Mali, who was known as modern Tukaram, and got him to do the Kirtan that year. The next year, 1914, another Balabua Satarkar of Brihatsiddh Kavate district, Satara, could not act as a Haridas in his own town, as plague was prevailing in his town, and so came to Shirdi. With Baba's permission, which was secured through Kaka Sahib Dikshit, he did the Kirtan and was sufficiently recompensated for his labor. The difficulty of getting a new Haridas every year was finally solved from 1914 by Sai Baba, as he entrusted this function to Das Ganu Maharaj permanently, and since that time he has been successfully and creditably conducting that function up till now. Since 1912, this festival began to grow gradually year by year, from the 8th to 12th of Chaitra. Shirdi looked like a beehive of men. Shops began to increase, celebrated wrestlers took part in wrestling bouts, feeding of the poor was done on a grander scale. Hard work and sincere efforts of Radha Krishna Mai turned Shirdi into a sansthan. Paraphernalia increased. A beautiful horse, a palanquin, chariot, and many silver things, pots, buckets, pictures, mirrors, etc., were presented. Elephants were also sent for the procession. Though all this paraphernalia increased enormously, Sai Baba ignored all these things and maintained his simplicity as before. It is to be noted that both the Hindus and Mohammedans have been working in unison in both the processions and during the entire festival. There has been no hitch or quarrel between them at all so far. First, about 5,000 or 7,000 people used to collect, but that figure went up to 75,000 in some years. Still, there was no outbreak of any epidemic or any riots worth the name during so many past years. Repairs to the Masjid. Another important idea occurred to Gopal Gund. Just as he started the Urus or fair, he thought that he should put the masjid in order. So, in order to carry out the repairs, he collected stones and got them dressed. But this work was not assigned to him. This was reserved for Nana Sahib Chandorkar and the pavement work for Kaka Sahib Dikshit. First, Baba was unwilling to allow them to have these works done, but with the intervention of Mahalsapati, a local devotee of Baba, his permission was secured. When the pavement was completed in one night in the masjid, Baba took a small gadi for his seat, discarding the usual piece of silk cloth used till then. In 1911, the Sabha Mandap was also put in order with great labor and effort. The open space in front of the masjid was very small and inconvenient. Kaka Sahib Dikshit wanted to extend it and put on it a roofing. A great expense he got iron posts and pillars and trusses and started the work. At night, all the devotees worked hard and fixed the posts. But Baba, when he returned from Chavdi next morning, uprooted them all and threw them out. Once it so happened that Baba got very excited, caught a pole with one hand and began to shake and uproot it, and with the other hand caught the neck of Tatya Patil. He took by force Tatya's feta, struck a match, set it on fire, and threw it in a pit. At that time, Baba's eyes flashed like burning embers. None dared to look at him. All got terribly frightened. Baba took out a rupee from his pocket and threw it there, as if it were an offering on an auspicious occasion. Tatya also was much frightened. None knew what was going to happen to Tatya, and none dared to interfere. Bhagoji Shinde, the leper devotee of Baba, made a little boldly advance, but he was pushed out by Baba. Madhav Rao was also similarly treated, he being pelted with brick pieces. So all those who went to intercede were similarly dealt with. But after some time, Baba's anger cooled down. He sent for a shopkeeper, got from him an embroidered feta, and himself tied on Tatya's head, as if he was being given a special honor. All the people were wonderstruck to see this strange behavior of Baba. They were at a loss to know what enraged Baba so suddenly and what led him to assault Tatya Patil and why his anger cooled down the next moment. Baba was sometimes very calm and quiet, and talked sweet things with love, but soon after, with or without any pretext, got enraged. Many such incidents may be related, but I do not know which to choose and which to omit. I therefore refer them as they occur to me. In the next chapter, the question whether Baba was a Hindu or a Mohammedan will be taken up, and his yogic practices and powers and other matters will be dealt with. Om Namo Shri Sai Nathai Namaha. End of chapter 6. Om Sai Ram.